Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Kara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. And on today's video, I am breaking down the energy and the frequency of emotions. And we're looking at the vibrational energy here, which is really, really important to realize when it comes to any kind of emotion that you're expressing or carrying and holding on to, how it's actually affecting you on an energetic level and therefore affecting the outcome and what ends up showing up in your external world. So this was a big thing for me when I first learned it, and I thought I should share it. So before we get into this, I just want to share that we are all energy, okay? Everything in existence is made up of energy. And this was like really life-changing for me years back after my brother passed away, and I was really going through my own kind of like spiritual, I don't like the word spiritual awakening, but I'll use it because I don't really know what else to say, and people know what that means usually. But I was kind of going through my own spiritual awakening, my spiritual journey, and I was doing so much learning about energy, about life after death, about kind of what makes up the world and how we even exist here. And these were things that I was always really interested in learning and like inquisitive about. So what I noticed when I had like one of my big shifts, I was reading the book Life After Death by Deepak Chopra, which I highly recommend whether you are grieving or not. It really talks about some cool things in terms of energy. But as I was reading this book, I kind of started to see things totally differently. I think it was because of my own personal state and what I was going through as well. But I would look at like a couch, for example, and like obviously when you look at a couch, most people are just like, there's this solid object, it's a couch. There's not much else to it. You know, we know what it's made out of, what it looks like, what it feels like. We know its purpose because of what we've used it for and our past stories and experiences, but that's kind of it. But when I would look at it, it was this really trippy, like Matrix-like experience where I could look at a couch, and it's going to be hard to even describe, but I would see like particles. Like I was kind of seeing all the energy particles that made up the couch. And it was like I had this x-ray vision, and I know I'm going to sound probably crazy to a lot of people, but this is what happened. This was my experience. So I could see like all of the little particles. And you know when you have those 3D glasses on, the old school 3D glasses that had like the red lens and the blue lens? It felt like I was looking through at the couch or at the wall or whatever physical solid object, and it was like I had these 3D glasses on, and I was actually able to see all of the little particles and atoms and the energy that made up this item. And so it really brought about like some deep conversations with some people, like my family, who were kind of just looking at me like I was absolutely insane. So sorry, Mom, but I was just like, don't you understand that there's so much more to this couch than what we see? And like we're just like missing the bigger picture here in life because we just think, oh, this is all that it is because this is all I perceive. But that doesn't mean we're right, because our perception and our awareness and understanding and knowledge is so incredibly limited. So I could look at the couch and I would see all these little like blue particles, these red particles, things kind of dancing around, making up the energy and like having this motion that created the substance. And again, if this is crazy, my apologies, but this was my experience. And so that was kind of a big awakening moment for me in understanding just like the depth of this energetic connection that we have as human beings and in this environment and on this planet. So it really started to open my eyes to a lot of different things. And then a few years later, fast forward, I started studying Reiki and started studying energy work a lot more because I just realized how much energetic baggage I personally was carrying in my life from so many different experiences, and I will get into those on another day, another time. But what I realized was how powerful it is to do the releasing work when it comes to the energy and to the things that we may not be able to physically see the impact or the effect that they're having or how much we're carrying, but we can feel it. And I felt drained for years and years. I was always tired. I had kind of like a predominantly negative mindset. I was always super serious and stuff like that. And I really truly believe that a lot of these things came from kind of the energy that I was carrying, the baggage, the heaviness, and the stuff that I needed to really release and work through. So with that little preface done, if you haven't already, after you watch this video, make sure you check out one of my other recent ones on state change or like changing your state, because that correlates with this video really well. So to get into this now, so there is like an energetic hierarchy or like this frequency of vibration. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the emotions that we carry or the emotions that we're expressing each day have a vibrational charge as well. So if you look at this, I've drawn it out beforehand. So 0 at the very bottom is like the most negative energy and the negative emotion. So this is grief, this is guilt, this is shame. And when you are holding on and experiencing one of those emotions, your energy level is like the bottom. Like it's so difficult to be motivated. It's so difficult to show up positively in the world when you are carrying like the immense weight of grief, or if you have this extreme shame or extreme guilt. And people who are down here at the 0 level or 0 to 100, it's just such a heaviness, and they feel so stuck, they feel hopeless. A lot of times it's really hard to see any positives, and this is often where a lot of people end up in depression, because there's just such a heavy weight, and then the emotion that they're feeling every day, grief, guilt, shame, this really dark, dense, negative, heavy emotion, well, that is like literally and figuratively weighing you down. So every single day you just kind of continue going through this loop of the same thing and the same emotions over and over again. And then as you start to work your way up, like to go to the other extreme really quick, from 700 to 1,000 on the frequency level, that's like enlightenment, and that's like true pure consciousness. So when we get down here in the really dense area, this is like the 3-dimensional. This is like very physical, dense, heavy, weighted down, compact. Okay? And then when the further you get up into the vibrational scale, the more you're hitting the higher dimensions, which is like the 5-dimensional, right? Which is love. And then we've got all of the other dimensions above that. And depending on what you personally believe, and there's a lot of different studies out there, I believe, like there's some people believe there's 9 dimensions. I'm pretty sure some people talk about 12. And the dimensions and like the frequency and the energy level gets more expansive the higher up. So 3-dimensional is very compact, it's very solid, it's very heavy, and it's something that kind of keeps us in that energy. But the more you do this work and the more you uplift and increase your vibrational frequency and your emotions alongside that, the higher you get towards this enlightenment, this consciousness. And this is where people like Buddha or Jesus were very enlightened and very connected. And they had this ethereal kind of component to them. And it's because they weren't living in this dense reality anymore, right? They were very aware of all the components. They were really living from love. And you may have heard people say before, like love or above. And that's because love is a 500 on the frequency. So if you're living from love or above every day, you're going to be like very high vibe, very positive, light, easygoing. When things come your way, you're able to really navigate them, release them, show up still in that positive light. So it's really, really cool and important to get to that stage if you can. So that's kind of the goal, right? The goal is not to stay in grief, guilt, or shame. The next level up from that is anger and fear. Now, anger, fear, resentment, these are also very heavy, also obviously very negative. And the charge with these isn't helping you, it's not helping anyone around you. So if you look at it like anger just keeps you perpetuating the cycle. Fear just keeps you perpetuating the cycle. They keep you stuck in that same energy. And this is why angry people, not only do they not attract good situations or good people, they attract more negative, really, because they're in this vibration and it's a really low vibe place. But they're also, I forget where I was going to go with that. It's like easy for them to stay there, I think. You know, you talk to someone who's like really caught in anger or really caught in fear, and like they're that's their default. That's what they continue to revert back to. And it doesn't matter like what positive thing shows up in their life, they're most likely gonna have something negative to say about it, or someone who did them wrong, or something to be fearful of because it could all go wrong tomorrow. You know, like it doesn't matter what good things happen. If this is the state that they're in and they're living in this vibrational frequency, most likely that's how they're going to continue to respond. So as you're watching this video, it's a great time to look at, okay, where might my default be right now? And kind of what's like the predominant emotion that I feel showing up in my life right now. And granted, this can change and fluctuate throughout the days, right? So maybe like after anger and fear, there's courage and pride, because that's still like a very egocentric energy. So it's still very much about me. It's, yeah, very like self-centered. And pride, you know, like showing something, proving something. There's still ego. That's not love. That's not like abundance and expansion and gratitude. That's still very self-centered. So from there, then you've got neutrality. And above that, you've got acceptance, which is where this is a beautiful energy to be in, because it's kind of where you're finally at, like, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whatever's coming my way, I'm able to accept it. I'm able to honor it. And this is a huge thing I teach my clients, is learning how to honor all of the emotions, learning how to honor all of the experiences, you know, forgiveness, sending love to yourself and to others. And for me, acceptance was a huge energy state, I guess, that I was working on for a long time, because with losing my brother, I definitely was down here for a while with the grief and the anger and like the hatred to people, to the world. But coming to terms to accept what had happened even was really difficult, and to accept that he was gone, and to even accept that it shaped me and made me stronger, right? There's so many different emotions that get tied into that. And then same with after being sexually assaulted. Acceptance was a really difficult thing to get to. But through doing the work, through working on honoring the emotions, honoring whatever feeling I have, whether it's like good or bad, right? Honoring it, feeling it, accepting it, forgiving it, letting it go, sending it off with love. All of these things allowed me to start to accept the reality that was my life, compared to trying to force and fight the reality and be angry and complain and say, why me? This isn't fair, you know, playing the victim. All of that just kept me down here, obviously, and it also kept me fighting with reality. And the reality is that life does have ups and downs. We can't control those things. So the sooner you can get yourself into the acceptance vibration, the sooner you're going to be better off, really, because you're going to be able to accept whatever comes your way and know that no matter what kind of cards you're dealt at that time, you can rise above it. You can still handle the situation with grace and with love, and you can still move forward. And just like one last thing on that, one big thing I noticed personally through grief was like, for me, as angry as I was, and I was really angry, and I was really cold, and like I shut off from the world internally. Like externally, I just kind of looked like I didn't care, I think. Internally, I was really shut off. But I still felt like, I still believed I could be a good person, and I still kind of cared about other people. Now, I've seen other people who were grieving and who like shut off all emotions. They became like the biggest assholes in the world and like really, really dropped down low into this low vibration where they didn't care about anyone. They didn't care about themselves. They didn't care about anyone else. And they showed that. And what I think is so crucial and something that like I realized is like, no matter what happens to you and like no matter how bad I felt after losing my brother, I still didn't want to just like be that mean or that negative of a person. Like I still felt like I wanted to be kind or I wanted to be loving. And so there was kind of this like fight between the negative emotions and the pain and the core being of my heart and soul that was like, you know what, you can still be a good person. And what I've realized is that there is this separation where some people handle the struggles and some people handle these low vibe states where they're still trying their best each day, even though they're hurting. They're still trying to take care of other people, trying to make a difference, trying to be kind, trying to please others, right? And then there's the other group of people who end up down here and they don't care. And they are spreading their hurt, they're spreading their pain to other people, and hurt people hurt people. So when someone is down here and they don't see the light, most often those are the people who then create more pain and spread more of that hurt around to people. So the best thing you can do if you are hurting right now, firstly, realize you're not alone. Reach out to someone if you can. And secondly, realize that no matter what kind of pain or trauma or heartache you're going through, you still have the choice of if you're going to leave the world a better place by trying to be kind and being compassionate when you can, or if you're going to take everyone down with you and create all this pain and hurt that isn't necessary. And I pray and I plead, I guess, like, please don't be that person, okay? Because I know I excused others for so long and I'd be like, well, like someone could be the worst, harshest, rudest person and I'd defend them and I'd be like, well, you know, they're really hurting, they're grieving and they're in this heavy pain. But I realized, no, I never did that. Like, it still doesn't excuse you from being an asshole. So whatever kind of pain you're going through, don't use that as your crutch and your excuse to be a bad person. Please try and rise above it. Please try and focus on getting into a higher vibe place, no matter what that means, no matter what you need to look for to find the light at the end of the tunnel. Just know that it's there. And if you try and if you focus on finding it, you will find it and you'll be able to rise above. Okay. So lastly, we get into love and pure joy, which is basically the 500 and up. Like I said, love or above. When you can get into this state where you are just like exuding this positive energy, you know, you have love and kindness for other people, you're really finding joy no matter what's going on in your life. You're able to navigate and handle situations so much better, but you also continue to attract more positive things because your energy vibration and your frequency is so much higher. So the closer you get towards enlightenment and towards like these higher dimensions in the frequency scale, the more you're going to kind of like start manifesting and be connected with law of attraction. Like you're going to know, you're always connected with law of attraction, but you're going to notice it in a more positive way because your own personal vibration and energy is way up here. So acceptance means that no matter what's going on, you know, you could have just lost your job, but you're finding acceptance. You're finding the silver lining. You're understanding that it's this or something better. And maybe this career has ended so that you can finally start that dream job you've been talking about for years, or because they didn't actually treat you all that well anyway and you deserved better, or because a job's going to open up with better pay and better benefits, right? Acceptance comes from accepting whatever the negative hand is that's dealt to you, accepting it for what it is, having faith and trust, and believing that whatever's meant to be will be, and something good is on its way to you. And then love or above, or love or pure joy, is taking that situation and actually being able to really love it, to nurture it, to honor it, and to see that it's like all a lesson. It's all something here to serve you and your greater good. And no matter what's going on, you can still be love, you can still spread love, you can still be in this positive vibration. And again, like, we all have this mindset here in this 3D world and in this 3D construct that we need the external things in order to be love, in order to have pure joy. We need to have the perfect partner, the perfect career, all the money in the world. We need to have the lifestyle. We need the freedom. We want all these external things that we think are going to make us happy or bring us up in the vibrational scale. But the real reality is that you can bring yourself up in the vibrational scale first, and that's actually what's going to attract the good things to you, because nothing external can make you feel happy or make you feel whole or make you feel good enough. Because the second you get that partner, you're going to start questioning and doubting yourself because you're not living from love or above. You're down here, you're going to have some pride or some courage come in, or maybe you have anger, fear, whatever, doubt, and you're going to end up kind of creating tension. Whereas if you can live from love and pure joy every day, and you can work on creating that as your default state, then no matter what comes in or out of your life, relationships, money, career, travel, lifestyle, right? No matter what it is, you're actually able to stay on that frequency and accept it, love it, feel good about yourself. I feel like love and pure joy also has to do with like unconditional self-worth and worthiness, and knowing that you are a divine being. You're already worthy no matter what's going on externally, no matter what you're feeling internally. You are more than enough right now. So being in that energy vibration is going to uplift you and allow you to continue to show up as your best self. And then enlightenment, 700 to 1000, I mean, that's the goal, right? Like that's where we want to get to, is working on becoming the most enlightened versions of ourselves, to, again, rising up above our circumstances, being able to show up the best way possible day in and day out, no matter what's being handed to us, and to really be able to manage our own energy frequency so that we are kind of in that place consistently. But that can be very difficult, and that's why depending where you look, a lot of places and a lot of people say that like really it's just like Buddha or Jesus, or like very select few who reach full true enlightenment. But I also believe there's no harm in trying. So the more you educate yourself, the more you focus on personal development, on like the mindset shifts, the energy work, on healing yourself, letting go of your old stories and all your wounds and your childhood trauma or your unworthiness, all of these things that are limiting you and keeping you in the lower range here. Like the more you do that, the more you get to kind of rise up, like on an energetic and an emotional level, and then physically because you're attracting it and you're feeling better. But the more you can rise up to where it is you truly want to be, and the closer and closer you can get to true enlightenment. So that's like the frequency scale. And again, if you take a few minutes, reflect on where your personal default is right now. Like I said, mine, like right after losing my brother, would have been definitely in the 0, and probably for a few years after that, because it was heavy. I was angry, I was mad at the world, then I was assaulted, I had all these things. So I was here, and then I did some work, and I started to try to find love and find purpose, find meaning. I started to move my way up, and then I had a car accident, and that brought down, like, because of then there was trauma, anxiety, a lot of fear, right? A lot of disconnect. I had like out of body experience, all this stuff that really kind of created extra tension and weirdness and stuff. Disconnect is the best word for it. So that kind of brought me down again. And then I worked and started to get back up. And then I'd be like in the acceptance, maybe some days fall back down a little bit, then back up, then starting to find love, then connecting more, and constantly in this game of a vibrational match of trying to become my best self. So reflect on it, think on it. If you want any help in terms of mindset and showing up with the best mindset for success, for love, for abundance, for just like living out your dreams, check out the free mindset training down below, because that is really, really important and powerful when it comes to reprogramming your mind and becoming the best version of yourself. So it's a mindset game, it's an energy game, it's a frequency game. The more you become aware of yourself, your patterns, and what you're doing, the faster you're going to notice results. And it's really up to you. And again, it's an internal thing. So it doesn't matter what's going on externally, because you can still be working on your own vibrational frequency and your own levels every single day to get yourself up here to love or above, and maybe even one day to enlightenment. And the world will be a better place. The world will thank you for it. I will thank you for it. So do it. Become your best self, please. I will try my best as well. Okay, if you haven't, please give this video a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you stick around. I'm posting videos every day. And if you have any thoughts or any questions, any ideas for another video, please post them down below. I'd love to respond to them, and I'd love to film some videos specifically for you. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Ciao.